Hey everyone, this is the e-commerce hotline, second episode here with the great Kalen Jordan. I am your host, Maier Bianchi, founder of Bemeir. We are an e-commerce and web solutions agency based out of Brooklyn, New York. And e-commerce hotline is our podcast to try to shake up the e-commerce podcast landscape. So as I said, I'm here with Kalen Jordan, hailing from Austin, Texas. Originally from Cali because he's an OG like that. Kalen is representing Mesa Automation, but he is so much more. Kalen has been a veteran developer, entrepreneur, SaaS startup founder, and exiter, hiring and recruiting lord. He is the man. So Kalen, welcome.
Keep pumping. Keep pumping.
Yeah, you're the man. Why don't you? Else. Yeah. All right. So also he's an all-around great guy and a good friend of mine. I've known him for darn near 10 years now. He has helped me with my company at various stages. And I've also been a guest on his podcast. So this is kind of like the resurgence, the full circle. And we are here today to talk about automations, entrepreneurship, life, and more. So Kalen, would you kindly introduce yourself and hop on in there?
Dude, I couldn't possibly do better than you. That was amazing. That was great. I'm excited to be on the pod. 1-800 e-commerce. Is it 800 e-commerce or is it?
It's 888-499 e-com. That's 3266.
Okay.
And,
hell yeah.
And actually, if you'll permit me as a segment of this, I will actually play you the jingles. I just haven't figured out how to do some interactive soundboard stuff on this.
No, please. Let's get that. Let's get that right away.
All right, we will. We'll save that for the end. So please, without further ado, tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you're repping, and just kind of like say something about Mesa, which is the Shopify ecosystem automations company you're working with.
Yeah, man. So Mesa is the product, Shopify is the company, and we have a bunch of different apps. We have like 9 or so different apps. Infinite Options is a real popular one, and but
oh
Mesa
wow, I did not know that.
Do you know Infinite Options?
No, I want to know. I'm going to learn about all 9 apps on this. We're going to all learn about the 9 apps on this call.
Hell yeah. But yeah, but Mesa is the kind of the flagship, and so that's what I spend my time on. And yeah, so we're kind of like a Zapier, for Shopify type of an app. And man, what else? I do a lot of workflows. Every day I try to bang out a little workflow. And so
you're like a worker bee of the workflows. Like
that's right.
Constantly innovating.
I'm definitely a worker bee. It's kind of an interesting role. It's kind of a little bit of a marketing role, a little bit of a tech role. I do a little bit of custom code here and there, but I realized that I have to, because my background is as a developer. And then I built a couple of businesses, and I got a little further away from the code.
That's right.
And so then in this role, I've been just trying to get my footing. Last year I started in May, I want to say, maybe March, April part.
The changing of the seasons. The changing of the seasons and the changing of the guard. So for those of you watching, Kalen was a maven of the Magento ecosystem, and he pulled a LeBron James. He went from the, essentially from the, how LeBron went from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference. Kalen went from Magento to Shopify, and he's like, any ecosystem you put Kalen in, he is going to dominate the paint. So first he's going to master the APIs. Then he's going to be like, yo, I know the APIs. I can talk to anyone. He's a legend on the Shopify forums, probably the Shopify Discord, all these communities, which I don't spend my time in because I'm not, I'm just not out there. I'm not in the mix. I'm on the streets. But Kalen's in the digital streets, knowing everyone in this Shopify ecosystem. He established himself in Shopify when he moved to Mesa. and you're kind of like originally an evangelist for the product, but you're also developing the product using the APIs and your development talent that you personally possess to solve problems. And tell me, you also get to work firsthand with a lot of merchants, right? Like you actually get to get into people's businesses and test out these automations and help them solve problems, which I think is really cool because it's rewarding when you build something, it gets results and you get feedback. So much of being a developer is you build something, you never really find out what happened. So this must be like validating from that perspective.
Yeah, it's cool to jump into a customer's account, and by the way, it's interesting. I'm always comparing and contrasting Magento to Shopify, and there's a lot of really interesting parallels that have kind of surprised me. And but jumping into someone's account is, there's a whole system for it in Shopify for.
I love the partner. I love the partner dashboard. I love the partner logins. It's so easy to work with.
Yeah, and so, but like, if I'm just thinking back to Magento, like getting into someone's account was like a whole deal.
Yep.
But
you got to get your biometric scan, 2FA. No, I was kidding. Keep going.
you gotta get into the source code, mess things up, get straight into the database. But so I like getting into like I had a forums thing just today. They wanted to do a daily deal for daily discount deal for products that are not performing well, right? To try to push some of that inventory that's not moving. So I started working on a little demo. I said, hey, if you want me to get it, in and check it out, I can do that. They replied, they installed the app, they're going to give me access, and then I can pop in and start figuring it out with it. Because you can build it in your demo account, but then this
is real practical data.
Yeah, you'll run into some specifics of how how many even it's just how many products they have, any particulars of if they have certain meta fields set up or anything particular to the environment.
It's very hard in Shopify to recreate the laboratory conditions of someone else's store in any kind of an efficient way. There's no way to do like a lift and shift. Like, okay, like snapshot this so I can get my hands on it. You can't clone to a demo. Like you can't even have the merchant clone to another store. So you're forced to kind of get into production and just be really careful, which is exhilarating, exciting, but also scary because then it's just like the old school Magento parallel where it's like when someone's like, oh yeah, just go in my production store. You're like, no, like now you're going to blame me if something goes wrong. So is that, am I overselling it or is that a real concern sometimes when you have to get into someone's environment?
No, it is like, it definitely is like, and a lot of times our support by default doesn't make any changes or even run workflows. They'll say, hey, we set the workflow up for it. You can run it. I'll generally get in there and go in and run a test and do, there's certain, like if you have a workflow that's canceling orders or something like that, then I'll put a step in that so it never gets to that step of the workflow so I can test it. But if you're just tagging a product or something like that, if it's something you can easily reverse.
Yes, tagging products is fine for sure. Yeah.
But if you're doing something that's like not super reversible, then you want to be, super careful.
Well, the example you shared is interesting because I was going to ask, is the automation where if a product hasn't sold in a certain amount of time and we have X amount of inventory on hand, discount it and put it here in this category so people can find it? Or is it something like that?
Yeah. So like, this may end up changing a little bit. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have to create a unique discount for each product. Yep. If they want different discount levels for each product, then we could do that. That'd be a different route to go. But the way I did it this morning is just set up a discount based on a product collection and then just tag the product to get it into that collection.
Got it.
Then the discount will apply. So it ended up being like when I was going into it, I thought I was going to have to create a discount for each of these products.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can just tag
that makes sense. Pretty easy. And what's the criteria for a product becoming tagged with this tag that says release them to the discount hounds? Like what's the
in this case this is funny because it's like, so there was a couple ideas that the dude had, and one was to, so Shopify does this thing. Do you want me to, dude? Should I like share my screen or something like that?
You are definitely allowed to do that. I would say, please do. And before you do, I would like to take a time out and discuss our sponsor, DrinkSip, who obviously hasn't really, they haven't really physically sponsored, but I have some of the DrinkSip product, and they're friends of ours. And DrinkSip is a non-alcoholic beer brand, so it's $3.45, $3.54 on a Friday, which is actually an appropriate time to drink a real beer. But we're keeping it non-alcoholic with this DrinkSip Hazy IPA. There's the 311 Stealing Hoppy Hours, the Watermelon Wheat, and the other Watermelon Wheat. And DrinkSip, great DTC brand on Shopify. So maybe they can benefit from your automations as well as they scale the brand and the business. So just had to give that little shout out. Now, why don't you show me this automation or this demo you're going to show me?
How did you pick them up as a sponsor? That's cool, man.
Well, I will tell you that story in a second. But my question for you is this. Are you sharing screen by overlaying it over your camera, or are you doing this on like the Riverside screen share?
Yeah, I'm getting a little advanced, dude. I'm overlaying it on my camera.
Okay, using OBS. Are you an OBS guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna crack that DrinkSip.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's cool. We can work with this. I was hoping to have the different footage so I could remix it a bit, but go for it, man. This is awesome. Show me the deal.
I could do a regular screen share too.
Please.
Honestly,
what is life without the chance to react to unforeseen conditions? So I would like you to carry on as if I didn't say that.
Okay. And honestly,
because what percent of my guests are going to be using OBS and doing this? 0. So 0.01. Only Kalen. So
yeah. I started doing streams, like I've done 2, and I didn't stream it live, but I recorded it, but as if it was live. And I think
yes,
the
it's
next
fun.
one I'm gonna stream live. Yeah.
On our streaming setup, I have different scenes. Like I'm gonna have an after these messages, we'll be right back scene, so that way if you gotta go to the bathroom, you can pause it and no one hears anything. I've mastered that one, and then I have I want to have different camera setup, so it's like if you're saying something heartfelt and interesting, I could press a button and now you're the focus of the stream, or vice versa.
Nice, dude. I'm super impressed by your setup, dude. You've taken it.
I've learned from the master. Please, further. It all started with you.
You've become the master. The student has become the teacher, dude. For sure. Damn.
Never, man. The game of life.
But what were we
you were gonna show me the trigger for the daily deal.
So they had 2 ideas. They had one idea was this ABC product analysis is something Shopify does out of the box. It grades your products based on basically like how they're selling and stuff. But this is not available in the API, which I was surprised to see that, because I would think it would be pretty easy to pull.
So this is like the Shopify 80/20 rule. Like it tells you here's where your volume's really coming from, and here's the winners and the losers of your catalog.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And so what I wanted to do was see if I could grab that. Couldn't grab that. So then the next option was to just grab products that haven't sold in the last 3 months. So that was the direction I went with.
So you're kind of like an API navigator. Like if APIs was the North Seas of North America and you're a Viking in the year 800, you're trying to find your way.
I'm all over the APIs, man. I'm always screwing around in there, figuring things out.
It's a whole undercover love language. Shout out to like Blank Lob and Gil and all those people building in public, and my man Henry the gift card guy, because I'm sure the people that are building apps like yourselves are discovering random things every day with these APIs, and why is this not here? Why did they change that? And it can be frustrating.
Yeah, and that's something that's different from Magento in the sense that in Magento you have the code, so you can always figure out the way anything works. Make your own API.
Yeah.
Make your own, but it's an interesting thing with Shopify where you'll discover some undocumented feature, or you'll discover
Yep.
something, or you'll discover a new feature before it's announced for additions or something like that. So there's this whole process around getting to know the APIs and the product as well, and finding things and figuring things out. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a treasure. It's kind of like a
It,
treasure hunt in a way.
yeah, it reminds me of like old school in this realm where people didn't have certain, like you didn't have it. So anything you found, you were just going on your like IRC, or you had certain places to talk to, but it's really just kind of like uncharted waters. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so
there's
they
that
didn't
drink
have
sip
that.
burp, the delicious satisfaction of drink sip. Keep going.
Yeah. So they didn't have that one. And so I just did it. I did it by looking at the sales over the last 60 days or something like that.
Okay, so if something
And
ain't sold in 60 days.
yeah, so and this is one of the cool features we have that makes certain things possible that aren't possible with like Flow as an example. Because another thing you can't do directly, I'm pretty sure, is to query the API in order to say how many. You know what? Actually, I take that back. You could query the API to say how many sales have happened for this SKU in the past time period.
Okay.
But there are cases where something's not possible to query in the API directly. So we have a data feature where we can save something to our data store and then we can query it. So that's what I did here. So basically, I'm saving the products and the order line items to the database so that I can query them in
Which
order
database are
to
they being
figure that
saved
out.
to?
So we have a Postgres database that
Okay, hold on. Let me stop
is
you right
just
there. So you're
yeah,
telling me Mesa automations, as part of the value add when you sign up for this app and service, is you get a nice little cushy corner of their data warehouse, aka their Postgres database, where
yeah,
the data gets sucked down so that it can be played with and transformed, essentially a middleware. But
yeah.
basically, that way you can then push it back up and do things. Otherwise, you'd be doing things with, that makes sense. It's only logical. But that's really cool that you guys have that, because that really unlocks unlimited potential of what you can do.
Yeah, there's some cool use cases that it allows you to do, and I'm trying to think of a good example off the top that isn't really possible with the APIs. But there's like, okay, here's a good one. Is like a bestsellers collection over a specific time period, where like Shopify gives you bestsellers out of the box,
Yes.
but the it's looking at all time. So
And it
you
doesn't
can
let you
sort of
slice and dice it.
no, you can't slice and dice it on a time period. So I use the database again for that, to just again store the orders by the product ID or the SKU or something like that,
And
and
can you
then to
even pull
just
down like
query them up.
order tags and things like that? So that way it's like orders which this condition happened, or
Yeah.
this, status and all of that.
Yep. 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 Yep.
That's cool. And then
Yeah. All that
for
stuff.
all the store owners out there watching this, because, who knows who's watching this, if what you need to think about when you think about automations and stuff like Kalen is doing and Mesa is doing, is you have to take this back to I wish I could have, or I wish I could do, as kind of
Hmm.
the root of what this does to transform your business and why you need something like this. So it once again goes back to your business owner acumen, your business owner imagination, because you need to be willing to explore or solve a problem or vocalize, hey, I'm having this. If I had this, I could do that. That's where these guys come in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's like very much half the battle is to figure out those use
Yeah,
cases.
knowing is half the battle, knowing how to ask for help, because so many people are just in this, in their bunker mentality, and they don't lift their chin up. And you got to say, hey, what can I get here? What are you having, a disco party back there?
Dude, I'm switching up.
Epilepsy warning.
I set up two scenes so that I could do my screen share scene and my
Oh,
full
I love
regular
it.
scene.
That's cool. So my
Yeah,
man is doing all the work for me.
dude, I'm getting it. I'm getting you dialed in.
It's good and bad, right? From a
It's
side
flashing the
podcast.
colors.
Yeah, from a podcast commentary perspective, it's hard because think about it. If this was Riverside, then I would have a video of your screen share separate from your video. So like while you're screen sharing, I could actually switch back and forth to be like, look at the furrow of his brow as he says this. But it's just funny because I'm like constantly imagining ways to make this better.
You're right.
Keep going.
Right.
But that's what I was doing yesterday. I was on a live stream making scenes, trying to screen share.
Yeah.
And my monitor over here is like, I don't know, 15 feet away from me. So I can't see because it's like a 14, it's a high resolution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little monitor down here, like a nice 15-inch touchscreen joint in front of me. So that way, if I want to manipulate something, I could see.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, there's always a million things to tweak with these,
I'm going to have fun.
with these setups. Good, man.
I'm going to have
Good.
fun editing this episode because you see this thing next to me, right? Like this is so I can put you in your feed in the room with me, but then I'm going to switch the camera angles to be just your feed or just me. And it's going to be like a really fun editing experience.
Hell yeah. Okay. Nice. Man.
Yeah. And then I think this camera over here, what's good, side camera, is possibly getting me, or it's just taking a picture of plants and my face is completely obstructed. But we'll see where it goes.
Right.
So, but yeah, so what are we looking at now?
Are you seeing my main screen? Or are you just seeing the screen share? Or?
I see you and I see a lot of flashing, but now it's not flashing.
You know why it's flashing? I think it's because
Your green
Riverside is doing this background blur.
Bunch of tryhards.
So-
you have some visual effect turned on. Can't you turn that off?
No, I was trying to figure out how to turn off the background blurring.
But isn't the
beforehand,
background
but when
blurring a function of your camera or one of those other, because I didn't see anything about background removal on Riverside, but I didn't really look that hard.
Yeah, I didn't remember it doing that either, but like in my like I'm looking at myself in OBS and it's normal. And then it's doing weird stuff in in Riverside.
For those of you watching, this is also a podcaster's podcast. You know what I mean? You're talking to two innovators in the space, so where optimization is part of the game. As you know, if you host a podcast or you're thinking about starting a podcast, don't, because we don't want it to get more crowded. But if you decide to do anyway, just kidding, please, the more the merrier. But if you decide to do it anyway, there's going to be a lot of tweaking. Unless you're just one of those people that has a boring Zoom recording. I respect you because you're probably just more focused on the quality of your conversations. But guys like us, we need to, be very specific.
Go nuts. Yeah. 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 What was I talking about, dude?
All
So
right,
I could
look.
keep doing the demo and stuff, or
Well, no, that's
but
what I'm saying. I want to cover
switched it
different.
off.
I want to cover different facets of your product. So we spoke about the daily deal and how a merchant could use underperforming items and automatically put them on sale to keep their inventory moving and cycling, so you don't have something sitting in the back of the warehouse. What are some other cool automations or use cases that you find yourself using?
Okay, dude. So let me take you on a journey here through
Epilepsy warning, big time. Yeah, that blur is killing me, fam. Yeah, that wasn't happening before. Just so you know, when you were sharing. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, is that the background?
It's perfect now, crystal clear.
Okay, good. It messed up my resize. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a sprinkling of some of the recent ones. So this one is backing up your images to Google Drive. Okay. That's
Business owner conundrum. I heard you talking about this on LinkedIn the other day. Solutions like Rewind, who are leading backup solutions of Shopify, Do they not
Yep.
back up the images?
I'm pretty sure they do. So Rewind is going to be a great overall backup. And I honestly don't know because I'll see a request from someone and you never know because there's so many weird ways to do things. Also, sometimes
Yes.
people
And
want to
also how
save
you,
money.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's like so many weird ways to do things. So it's always hard to know like, is this crazy random use case that you shouldn't really be doing, or
Man, it
is
says
it going to make
Shopify,
sense
it
for some
says
people?
Google, it's a big one. If it says Shopify and Google, let it happen. No,
Yeah.
because what I think about backing up your images is so important is it's like by product, labeled the same way they're labeled on the back end of Shopify, right? Like you do
Yeah.
want that. So can your integration create a folder per product or dump it all in one place, standardize the naming schema? Like what does this
Yep.
do?
Yep. Yep. So this one just grabs updated files and then it just saves them whenever they're updated to Google Drive. So that was kind of a fun one. And then that was a simple one. This is a simple one too. Low inventory
Yeah, but
alerts. You can
that's
do.
powerful at scale, man. Like, I've got 1,000 products. I don't want to have to sit there and do that. Or maybe the media is disorganized, or you want to use your automation to take a monthly snapshot, for example. Because
Yeah,
in
another one
Shopify, there is no undo button. If you delete the image, that's it. It's gone.
yeah, yeah.
And now that
And so
Shopify can also real quick, now that you can use Google's AI to generate product images and product backgrounds, and then they get saved as Shopify images, technically you can make a workflow where you AI generate a bunch of stuff, back it up to Google Drive, go use it in a different marketing channel that's not connected to Shopify. It's really powerful. So
right.
great job.
Thanks, man.
What
Low
else are you gonna
inventory
show me
alerts
here?
to Notion. That's kind of a simple
Ooh,
one.
for all you
Um,
Notion geeks, we're dropping tables on you.
Notion. Yeah, you do. You do. Your Notion geeks are dedicated crowd.
People, shout outs to
This one
Notion. I'm paying
is
for you.
yeah. This one is doing an order meta field from line item properties. That's a little bit technical. The bestsellers collection over a time period is kind of cool. Um, Low stock
Yep.
notification with specific levels per product as opposed to, doing a low stock alert for the same
Meaning,
level.
like this will tell you the actual inventory and send you a notification.
Uh, yeah, but also this one is going to use a meta field on the product to say, okay, these red shoes, I want an alert when they get below 10. This blue shirt, I want an alert when it gets below 5.
Oh, so
So
more nuanced than just
more,
globally setting the threshold at 3. Because, yeah, what
yeah,
if you have something that you always got to keep 500 of? You don't want to wait till there's
yeah,
3. You need to know when there's
yeah,
like 40.
yeah. Um, This one is kind of cool. It adds a little form to a product page that you could submit the form and it'll tag the product and stuff. So
What?
there are a couple ways that you can do stuff on the front end, you either with a little bit of JavaScript or with our standard
That's
form
tight.
action. Yeah, and then you can tie it into the front end really easily. You can
Meaning
tie
for
it
like
into a whole
customer
workflow.
feedback?
Yeah, customer feedback was the example that I gave. Actually, the person who asked for this
Wow.
workflow, I don't know what they were planning to do in the form because they didn't get back to us. But I said, "Oh,
Drink
that's a
sip
cool
burp.
idea." So I built this out. I'm not sure that it makes that much sense to get
Well,
customer feedback on a product
I have a
page,
friend,
but
Axis Consulting, Boris from axisconsulting.io, and he's the
uh,
automations lord, right? So I think a product like yours would be amazing in someone like his hands. I thought I connected you guys, but if not, I should because
oh
once
yeah, I
again,
think
if you
I
lack
think we talked.
you did, right? So you guys got to talk again because if someone lacks imagination, that's where the dream starts and stops, right? Like my mid journey queries and prompts have gone downhill like
Uh,
BigCommerce's stock price. Sorry, guys. But they've gone downhill. They have gone downhill over time. When I started using Midjourney, I was like all in the Midjourney gallery, like, okay, what query did they use to do this? Oh, Fujifilm 35 millimeter and dropping these big queries just to try to get some effects. And now I want a graphic. I'm like, like, man, doing this, like I am the laziest prompt writer. But this is exactly like this. If you lack imagination, you're going to be SOL when it comes to the competition. So I think it's an important skill set for business owners and their personnel. Or if you're just an independent e-commerce operator, like say you have a job at a brand and you're trying to be better at your job, this is one way to really level up at your job. Like, yes, you have to get the purchasing approval to buy the app, but think about, this is like a force multiplier. This makes you better at your job, which makes your results and your performance more stand out in the performance of your business. And that's what I think the message I want to hone in on when I see something like this, and why it gets me so excited and why I love what you're doing, because it has limitless potential to create those Shopify success stories and, you know, help someone overcome a problem. So I know like this might not be like the sexiest topic, but at the same time, it's really transformational. It's really powerful because it's limited only by someone's imagination, and obviously having a Kalen Jordan to be the delivery engine of great API work that helps create these connections. The innovator, if you will.
Yeah, like you know, with automation, it's the powerful thing is that you can do you can do so much. It's very powerful. But the downside to it is that it's abstract in general. It's very abstract. Like it's interesting to like the last kind of sales call that I did. I did what I'm doing now. I just started scrolling through my demos and talking through them, and then they started going, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, you can do that. Oh, you can do that. Oh, you can do that." So I think it's not the most like elegant like pitch approach, but it's kind of like the best I've figured out is to just go through all these and kind of talk through them. So it's kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah,
This is yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say this is a variation on the out of stock thing where you're tagging products that are out of stock or size broken, which I didn't know that term until the other day.
I just saw that term. Like your size is broken. What does that mean? Like if I only have medium and large and no small, no extra large, it's like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually more broad than just sizes. It's like if any variant under a product is out of stock, then they call it size broken. So that was one use case I got from an agency. They were using a couple other automation products that were like not always reliable. So I built this one out trying to get them to switch over.
I hope they did. I hope it worked.
Not yet, but we're
well, that's recent. Yeah. How many of these are you cranking out a day or a week, man? Like,
dude, so
do you have like a graph? Like when I started in May, there were this many automations. Now we're here, like, you know, the Kalen stock market. Reverse of the Ecommerce stock. Sorry, guys.
I just crossed 100 of these suckers actually, and I do one every day, and since I started in the like
slow
thanks,
clap,
man. Yeah, since I started last year, there were some periods where I was less consistent, and then I was like, this isn't working. I'm not getting enough traction. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. It's important. I found like, this is what I meant when I said I have to be close to the kind of like close to the code, to the product. Like I think some people can, in like a marketing context or sales context, they can be kind of higher level and they can make that work. And I was kind of trying to do that, but it just didn't work. So I have to be like a bit lower down in the stack. And so I like doing these. It's good. It's a good like little challenge for me, and I've been getting a little bit of traction with them, so I'm sticking with it.
All right,
but yeah, there's
Go ahead. Sorry.
Setting a customer meta field. That's another one. Oh, here's an interesting one. Displaying a price history on a product page using meta objects. So meta objects are pretty flexible. You can basically create any.
The Lord opened the heavens and gave us meta objects sometime last year, right?
Yeah, I think it was sometime last year. I don't remember exactly, but definitely a little before my time. But yeah. So this one.
What are meta objects as opposed to meta fields? So those are more complex data stores. Like explain it for all those who like me. Obviously, I know what a meta object is, folks. But for those of us who don't, I would say explain more the complexity of meta objects, right? Because meta objects are something that to say a Magento merchant or someone that's already had complex data stores available on a product level, it's kind of like, to me, the platform is playing catch up. But now that you have meta objects, it's only, once again, shout out to Shopify and their engineering team, it's now enabled 52 new dimensions of the prism of e-commerce. And so the fact that you're talking about meta objects, but then you're using them on the back end and the front end, I want to know, get into the details of this one just a little.
Yeah. So these are some meta objects that I have in here. Let me bump up the font size a little bit.
Man,
so like
zooming.
for this price history, I created a price point in time meta object, which just stores your
That is so cool.
price.
So does the meta object live in a global database, but then there's a meta object entry per product when you create one?
Yes, basically, yeah. Although they don't have to necessarily be tied to a product, but they
No,
can
that's why
be.
they're meta. They could be anything, but this is a meta object
Yeah.
for a product. So what this is imagine a little tiny file drawer, right? Like imagine a little filing cabinet at the product level, and then my man is inserting an entry every time the price changes, and you can just open that drawer and rifle through the history of this product. Why is that
Right.
so powerful? Because say your supplier cost went up or you had a stock shortage, like, why did we change the price? What was the reason for that? Can you even go back and enter some data against that? Like, meaning, why did the price change?
You could, yeah,
Or
you could
who
add
changed the
you could-
price? Which user, what thing changed the price? That could be interesting too.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think that see, I'm gonna go look at the thing. I don't think that the webhook gives you
I've done it
gives you
again. I've opened the can of worms. So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
analyzing the webhook. He's analyzing the webhook to see what data it gives you for what potentially can be stored in that meta object at this snapshot.
Yeah, exactly. So like this is that workflow, and then this is
Look
what
at that
those
beautiful
webhooks.
interface.
This is what those webhooks look like, and then you can pop into one and look at the details. So yeah,
Okay.
and there are actually a number of use cases where you would like to see who was the user that did something, and
Yep.
that's one of the things that isn't available a lot of times.
What if a rogue agent changed the price?
Yeah,
Just so they
another
could
thing
sell an order out the back door to their boy. It's happened.
A request I've seen was for like an audit history of anything changed in the admin. I was like, oh, that's a great use case. But
Admin actions
don't-
log? That is a good
Yeah,
one.
is that a Magento? That's a Magento module, right?
Well, little folks, that's been available for a decade or more on the other platform. But the thing is it used to be an enterprise-only feature on Magento. Like out of the box, there was some kind of admin's actions log, and then independent developers have created that so that every time something happens, it records that data. Honestly, that's one of my really not must-haves, but a really good to have when building a new store, because especially if you have multiple admins or even in yourself, right? Because how do you know when you did something? Sometimes you don't remember.
Yeah.
So
Now
is this a
do
store
ha-
activity log?
They do have this. This is a native feature, is a store
Yes,
activity log.
that's the one I'm talking about.
And I think it's going to show all that, but we just don't have API access to it, which is
So you can't manipulate the store activity log. Shopify has it. So any shit talking I did is nullified. And why am I talking shit? I love it all. This is not.
I
this
don't
is
know,
not a
dude.
fanboy. This is not a fanboy podcast.
No, but this is the funny thing about you, man. And I see this in your posts and stuff, is that you tend to like be a little negative on Shopify, which like
Why?
I've full
Go
on
ahead.
drank the Kool-Aid, like
My
somebody.
man has drank the Kool-Aid and he is dead in a field in Guyana somewhere. Jim Jones has said, Toby said jump off a bridge and he jumped off a bridge. No, real talk, RIP to the victims of the Jonestown massacre, especially the members of Congress and all the American citizens who were duped the member of Congress, it's a crazy story. The member of Congress didn't get duped into Jim Jones, but he got killed while on a journey to try to rescue those
That
people.
was a while back, right? That was back
This
in the
was
day,
in
right?
like late 70s, early 80s. Don't quote me
Yeah,
exactly on
okay,
it, but
yeah.
it was a wild time in the world. But now that we're
Yeah.
going back away from the history lesson, I will just say this. What I like to see is truth to power. So in these e-commerce ecosystems, because of a consolidation of the market, we have far too few companies holding too much power. Like Google rules the internet with an iron fist. If Google says tomorrow, hey man, all websites got to have, the seal of authenticity by next January, that's happening, right? Just like Core Web Vitals, all these other things, like Google is pushing it. And then same thing with Shopify. They hold a lot of power over their ecosystem. And so as they take more space in the market and control more market share, they can use that for good. They can use that for evil. And there's just a lot of people that have been hurt by changes, right? Or have seen their service levels diminished. And so if I'm making a comment that could be interpreted as negative, it's more like, hey, be better than this. Just like with Adobe and Magento, there's a lot of things where the ball got dropped or things that were perceived as bad in the ecosystem. Same thing with BigCommerce, right? Like, hey, they didn't have multi-store. They came out with multi-store. Hey, be better. But obviously, just to empathize with billion-dollar companies, which is hard to do, but to empathize with these companies is you have real technical and engineering challenges which prevent you from doing certain things with your product. And so Shopify has priorities. They have a board. They have shareholders. They have certain things they're beholden to, and they're trying to balance different sides of the market. So just, this is a mea culpa to say that I understand the complexity and I'm not here to badmouth anyone. This is really all about just what's good for merchants and what's good for the ecosystem at large, because this is a free and fair economy. And so choice is good.
Yeah. I mean, the truth to power thing, though, I will say, like, there's a lot of, and I don't think people realize this, but there's a lot of people in the Shopify ecosystem that talk trash constantly
Because they're so disappointed.
Well, I mean, you run into things day to day and they talk trash all the time. I would honestly say that there's more trash talk from the Shopify community in the sense of feeling free to vent frustrations, concerns,
think
whatever.
about it.
I
if
would
you have
say
800
there's more
customers, there's more of that for sure.
But even because what you said is truth to power, they're $1 billion company. I would say that relative to like in the Magento ecosystem, it was like if you're a partner, you shut your mouth, you don't say anything publicly. And
Omerta.
I don't think that's if you think that like, okay, since Shopify is more powerful, bigger, that dynamic would get worse and worse. I think it's relatively speaking, it's better. There's more freedom of expression, I would say, in the Shopify ecosystem.
Well, there's more tentacles of the beast, right? Shopify has so many more people who are responsible for their dominion in the ecosystem. So if you know that person, you can reach out to them. Plus Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. People are always like, help me, Harley Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope, right? Like when there's a bad situation, when there's an injustice in Shopify, all people do is just go on the thing and be like, hey, Toby, hey, Harley, hey, Harley, hey, Harley. Like I've seen this countless dozens of times. And it's awesome because they'll get involved. Be like, okay, we're going to have someone reach out to you. And like on one hand, okay, it shouldn't have to come to that level because the hundreds of support people below that should have done their job properly. But the point is, at least there is that responsiveness from the executive level, which you don't see, Mr. Flashing Discotheque over here.
Am I flashing again?
It's really hard on the eyes, man. But anyway, I think that's so important what you said, because there are a lot of vocal people, because the way I view it is it's really a victim of the success, right? If you flip that challenge on its head, well, people are only going to be vocal because there's so much riding on it, right? You have real people, real businesses depending on solutions. And if they can't get help, if there's an injustice, or if there is a matter where some API isn't working or something's broken, that can affect hundreds of customers and cascade to their dissatisfaction with the app that they're using. So you do see a lot of vocal app makers. You see a lot of vocal those kind of folks, developers.
Yeah.
I feel like you see vocal merchants. You don't see as much vocal partners. You do not see as much vocal agencies. I feel like you see vocality in terms of features and spreading the good word, but I just don't think it's practical. And there's a lesson I've had to learn in my career. Like, it's not really practical to go out there and complain unless there's a major injustice. It's better if you just try to work the channels or ask a friend, because going out in public and making a bunch of noise is not always the best way to retain a good standing with folks. And so it's just more about politics and balancing that.
Yeah, but you sort of said two contradictory things. You're like, well, I believe in speaking truth. I believe in
I'm saying
speaking
why
truth
there
to power.
might be times when I'll say something, right? Like, hey, stop fucking bad-mouthing X platform. If your platform's so good, then just let it stand on its own 2 feet. It's really corny to see, like, the CEO of Shopify, one of the overlords of the planet Earth, picking on a beloved product manager from Magento. You know, like, that was a really corny move,
come
Toby.
on, dude.
No, that was corny, dude. But wait.
That was
hold
the
on.
most innocent and like, it was just...
No, but what was nice is he went back, made a mea culpa, same day. He's human. And that's what was so beautiful about that moment. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, you can call it contradictory, but like, no one else would do that, which is why Shopify is so cool, because you're not going to have, you know, like Mark Benioff or whoever's in charge of Salesforce going out there and doing that. He's too busy, like, dominating the world from the yachts, you know, like, or whatever, from the boardroom. Like,
yeah.
Toby's a real guy. He's a real dad. He plays video games with his kids on weekends. Like, Shopify's awesome for that reason.
Yeah, like,
so I'm a contradiction lord. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, you are. I think that they're very, like, from the top, like, I think Toby and Harley are very, like, genuine people. You know, they're kind of, they're honest. They're like, those, you know, I would say
really
Toby even
respect
more
Harley.
so.
Toby,
Harley's
for real,
super cool.
I just respect Harley for what he's done in the face of geopolitical things and standing up for his people. And, like, you know, like, and being willing to take a stand for that is impressive, because you don't always see that from publicly traded companies.
Yeah, that's another example of somebody just saying, you know, talking about what's real to them, whether it's like the corporate thing to do or not. And I think that that's something that people outside of Shopify don't really get. Is that there's, you know, there's a lot of, like, just being human, being a real person, at the same time performing incredibly well, and being, you know, like, just being a real person, like tweeting the stuff you think and being involved, being engaged on Twitter. Like, the Magento leadership isn't really like that.
No, there were certain people. No, it was a different animal.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, I've sort of drank the Kool-Aid, which is kind of my thing. Like, I think it's like,
you're flashing again. Got to comment on the flashing, because you're saying such hot fire.
That'd be funny if, I think maybe when I move, it's doing,
and
it's
something weird. Like, you got to kill whatever that is, because it's filter. And, like, for example, my Riverside ain't doing that. There's no background filter on mine. You can keep talking. I'm just going to move my B camera to see if I can get a better shot.
Yeah. Cause when here, watch, I'm going to switch it back to my other screenshot that I had. And then, you'll see it blurring. See how it's blurring that? But at least it's probably not going to flash, but it's like blurring that background. But anyways, I forgot what I was talking about.
You were gonna say something cool about Toby and Shopify and something dope.
Oh, the Kool-Aid. Like when I was really in love with Magento, I was fully in love with drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's, I think, part of how I operate. Like, I like to really believe in something deeply and be, like, all in. You know, whereas other people are like, oh, well, like, you know, like, let's be strategic about which platforms make sense for this and that and this and that. And that's fine. Like, obviously that makes sense, but it's just kind of how I operate, you know? So it's good to be skeptical about, it's good to be skeptical about leaders and people in power. Like I get that as a principle, but I'm more so like I kind of fall in love with an ecosystem and a company, a product, and then I'm kind of just all in.
Well, I have a really good answer for that. I'm gonna have to do some serious editing. But basically, I think that's cool, man, because you're driven by passion, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a very passionate guy too. We all express our passion differently, but the point is like you can't be the best at what you do if you're not passionate about it, right? Like, yes, you can show up and give your 100% every day and be good at what you do, but you can't be the best at what you do. You're not going to be just a straight animal, right? And so that kind of speaks to why I really respect you as a person, because you're a serial inventor. You're someone who has whatever you put your mind to, you do it 100%. Like you said, hey, I'm going to start a SaaS email platform for an ecosystem, and you did it, and you charged on. You made it to V1, V2, and then you exited. Like you're like, hey, this has lived its course. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to focus on these challenges now. And I think that's awesome, right? Because but it comes with having a builder mentality, because you're not just someone who's like coming at it from a corporatist or doing the flashing again, man. It's terrible. The flashing is crazy. Don't worry. There wouldn't be a podcast without technical difficulties.
Flashing again.
What I was going to say was, sorry, I just want this to come out good on the editing floor. What I was saying was like, it was something, I forgot what I was going to say because the flashing killed me. It was something about you and the way you also approached like building. Oh yeah, the way you build, right? So you as a builder, because you're a developer, because you're a creator, because you're essentially a digital carpenter, you can take that term if you want.
I like that.
You're a digital carpenter. We're weaving poetry here.
Yeah.
So you're a digital carpenter. So it's not just like, oh, I have an idea, and then you go hire a guy in Upwork or whatever, and you're like, okay, cobble this together, which a lot of entrepreneurs do, right? They have their team, they have their go-to guys, and that's how they make stuff happen. But what I respect about you is you just go build it. And you're like, hey, man, I made a beta over the weekend. And then you're talking about it, you're putting it out there. And that's what the best people do, is they just put their product out. They don't sit on it for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's what the best people do, but there's...
No, you got to build it and ship it, man. You got to ship it.
That's one approach that can work really well. It's also good to be really rigorous. I'm not, I'm more like the, what's the phrase? Move fast and break things,
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, dude. That makes me feel good. That's very encouraging.
Well, you deserve encouragement because you make things happen. So I see you're wearing an FC Barcelona hat. I'm not going to try to pronounce the King's Spanish because I can't do it.
Dude,
my list is only accidental. So are you going?
No, I think my dad, my dad gave me this hat, so I'm not like a fan or anything like that.
Okay. But do you like football?
Like that.
Do you like the soccer?
I'm not like, my wife is during the World Cup, my wife watches it at all hours of the night. But I'll watch clips. Like I like highlight clips as much as the next guy.
Yeah, you like to see the excitement. But then, given that you're in Austin, have you been to an Austin game or like taking the kids to an MLS game in Austin? Because I heard it's amazing.
Nah, we haven't. It's tough because our kids are so young and it's hard to do anything with them. So
I respect that, man. It's difficult to get the kids in the car and go anywhere without pulling.
It's like you get your go-to places. Like there's a hamburger spot that has a kids play. Yeah. It has a kids playground. That's our go-to spot. We go there it's 12 minutes drive. And even still, there's always like a 60% chance something's going to go off the rails with one of the kids. So it's just like you you get something that works, you kind of stick with it. It's funny because I was at the Domain, which is this nice shopping area, and
Oh, the Domain. I know about the
I was
Domain. It's probably gotten so fire by now. Because remember when it came out like 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty. It's gotten busier and busier, and I was just walking by and seeing people just having like a nice breakfast on a Sunday or so whatever it was, a nice lunch, and I was like, man, I was like, people could like imagine being able to just go out on a weekend, eat somewhere like different place, like just go to pick some random place and just have like a nice, relaxing
When
meal. I
yeah.
was like, we haven't been able to do that for as long as I can remember, you
Well,
know?
that's such a good topic because yeah, when you have more than one kid, really when you have more than two kids, that becomes even harder, right? Like two kids, okay, you can manage it. One kid, great. You're just coming with us wherever we go. You're an accessory. But two or like three or more kids, forget about it. It's very hard. Different ends of the spectrum, different things going on. And it's so
Yeah.
funny you said that because I was just talking earlier to people that are in, like younger people that are in relationships but don't have kids. And I'm like, it's very hard to willingly end that part of your adult life. So I know why a lot of people put off having children because it's like you're literally signing
Yeah.
a contract to be like, we can't do, oh, you remember that time we spontaneously went on vacation? Nope. Remember, we
Yeah.
went this? Nope. So I don't know if you feel like this, but if you even get a date night with your wife, do you feel like there's like a
We
ticking clock over your head? Like, oh man, like we gotta be back. Like, we can't enjoy this too much because it's gonna, time's running out. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like you try to do date nights, and I'm not as good as that as I should be. But
it's
even when you
hard,
do
man.
them, it's hard to just enjoy. Like you forget how to just have a good
Yeah, it feels
time.
foreign.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it feels foreign. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm sure over time we're gonna be better and better about that. But yeah,
hey,
it's
life
yeah.
is about constant improvement, and so you can't. Definitely didn't mean to go on any dark places, man. We're all just trying to live our
That's
lives.
not a dark place.
No, but I mean like that feeling of, oh, I wish I could do X, Y, and Z more. It'll come, like I feel the same
Yeah.
way. Like I got to go see Toto, the band Toto, with my wife the other night. Africa, Hold the Line, that band Toto, and it was
Wow.
just so nice to like go do something, and like it just reminds you like, oh yeah, this is possible. So I would just say like
Yeah.
once you get a taste, it kind of like makes you want more, but it also just says, oh yeah, this is cool. We can exist in this way, and I really appreciate it. So it makes you appreciate the moments more. Um,
I think that's why
yeah,
people are so chill and happy when they get to the other side of kids and they can have like a normal life
yeah,
type deal, and they can, and then they probably really appreciate it more so than like if you're in your
yeah.
20s
Like
and
when
it's
you're on
just
vacation
totally
and you see those old couples like chilling, enjoying the vacation,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
and they're like, yeah, my
yeah,
son's a
so
lawyer in
yeah,
Pennsylvania, and I'm Grandpa Joe. Yeah, that's so funny. It's so
yeah,
true, man. Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
just have this
so
baseline chill that you can't unfathom, but now, well, we can fathom it. So
can't touch it.
yeah, you can't touch this. One more topic I was gonna ask you about is, do you want to hear the jingle or the
Oh yeah.
you know?
Let's
Okay,
get it. Yeah,
so the
yeah, yeah,
only
yeah.
the only
Let's do it.
challenge I have is like I don't know how to share all, like, so on, on OBS I can like share a source and the audience will hear it. How do I
Right.
pipe out some audio without doubling the audio? Like, so if I wanted to put on a YouTube video, have you hear it while I hear it so there can be a real-time reaction, what's the
It's my understanding. I think it's super complicated. It's
it's
like
hard.
shockingly complicated to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think I know how
You
to do it. I just figured it out. Oh
do
no. Well, OBS has virtual camera, right?
in OBS. I think it's you can just add. You can just
No, but I'm saying
add
if
an
I use
audio
OBS
source.
as it can be I need to give you an external audio source, right? Like I need to be able to turn on an audio source and make that my microphone mixed with my microphone. So I think, OBS has virtual camera. Can you
Yeah.
set the virtual camera as the audio source as well? If you can, that's how you could do it.
Not. no, like the video and the audio sources
Like a
are
virtual
separate.
mic. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like if you can make
Yeah.
a virtual mic, then I could just mix. Oh, I know what could do it. I know what could do it. I know what can do it. You ready for this?
All right.
This is gonna blow your mind. Modern technology, my man. I'm gonna have to kill the B camera for this, but this is modern technology because the Rodecaster board has Bluetooth as an input, so I can
Oh,
pipe
there
in
you go.
Bluetooth audio. See, I wish I
Yeah, that's the move.
phone now, because that would have been easy. But now I'm just gonna do that really quick, because then I can actually play you and get your reactions to the jingles. I'm gonna kill this second B camera. It's been nice knowing you. How do I actually pull that thing out of here? Okay, check this out. So you can't see me, but hopefully you can hear me. I can go to my
Yeah, I can hear you.
source. I'm going to my second source. No device connected. Discoverable as Rodecaster Pro. Yeah, so check this out. So I can go connect. Uh-oh. Think my cat peed on something or did something bad. It's no good, man. Rodecaster Pro. Alright, I connected to the Rodecaster Pro. Oh, my iPhone is connected. Yes. Okay. So we'll have there's no processing on this channel. So I'm not going to be able to show you the video, right? Yeah, because I don't know how to show you the video. Maybe I can share screen too. Whatever. Let's just start with audio. So
Okay.
if I go here, so check it out. I'm going here. This is the part of the show where we play a random song for our buddy Kalen. So this is the e-commerce hotline jingle. I'll play you the country song, okay? You ready for this? I don't know if you hear it.
If you need help
Yeah, I hear
with
it.
e-commerce but don't
You hear
have
it?
time, call the e-commerce hotline.
Yeah.
If you need help to make your store shine, call the e-commerce hotline. Your store
That's
needs
so
improving, don't deny. Gotta call the e-commerce hotline.
That's so dumb.
888-499-3266. Your store will be fine. 888-499-3266. Make your store shine. E-commerce
Can you just-
hotline.
Can you imagine the guy?
Hotline.
Can you imagine the guy recording this? He's like in Nashville. He's trying to like get a music career going. He's like, got to make some money on the side. He's like, what the hell? No, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so how that happened is that's actually off Fiverr. And apparently the guy who did the real e-commerce hotline theme song, which I'll play you in a second, and there's two B-roll versions. Let me just see if I can do one more thing here. But that guy was on Fiverr, and they did that in one take. Like, meaning like there was only one back and forth. Oh, it's so funny. I got over I forgot I had the keyboard and mouse in front of me. I never even had to leave my chair. I'm just trying to see if I can set the outbound audio of the computer to be this. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so I'm going to play you the second song. This is called Hit Us Up. Okay, so these are Shopify focused e-commerce hotline jingles. Okay, so this is a live video of Kalen reacting to a song. There's no music video for this. There is a music video for the main jingle and the country song with me lip syncing it. But this is called Hit Us Up. Okay.
Hey, e-commerce, I know you selling online. Heard you need some help when it come to Shopify. Hey, we got what you need, help you to succeed. We can make it happen. True, yes indeed. 888-499-ECOM. 888-499-3266. 888-499-ECOM. 888-499-3266.
Okay, so that's when I was like, okay, this is going to be a Shopify hotline, a more Shopify centric. So then is the other one. This is called Fly, and then I'll spare you.
When it come to e-commerce, doing everything online, we are here to help. Hey, we want to see you fly. And on Shopify, we got what you need.
Yeah, these sound more
Ain't no
modern.
holding back. Make
Yeah, this is like
Sound
hip hop.
modern hip-hop. Yeah.
888-499-ecom.
You need to get like how they do like effects on the vocals and stuff like that. Maybe it's a Post Malone type.
Oh, see, that would be a good next one. Let me get like an emo rapper, like or a Taylor Swift e-commerce hotline.
Yeah.
And you've heard the original, right? The Alpha and Omega e-commerce hotline jingle.
Oh yeah, I think.
Do you
so.
know
I
that
think
one?
so. I think I've heard that original one.
All right, I'm just gonna get your reaction. Probably cut it, but here, check it out. It's right here. This is the original e-commerce hotline jingle. Okay, ready? This is the original.
7% battery. I think I got to play.
All right, well, yeah, we're going to wrap after this anyhow, because I didn't have a good closing philosophy.
With e-commerce, but don't have time. Call e-commerce hotline. E-commerce hotline.
Such a classic banger.
To make your store shine. Call e-commerce hotline. E-commerce hotline. 888-499-3266. 888-499-3266. Wanna see you win? It's time for you to shine. Call e-commerce hotline. E-commerce hotline.
Ooh. Yeah, so
You've been iterating on the jingles, my brother.
yeah, this has been iterating. So that's from September of the year of our Lord 2020. So let's do a little outro, because nothing like a stale recording session to kill anyone. But this was awesome. I would say let's see how it comes out in the editing floor. So with this flickering, man, oh my gosh.
Times.
But why is it flickering?
Did it flicker on the black?
Yeah, your face, you're just like right now. Like something is wrong with your setup, man.
No, I promise you, it's not my setup, dude. Because it's Riverside, dude. It's doing some post processing, man. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but what is that? Oh, because they do have unvarnished versions of the video. I don't know. We're gonna discover this.
I think the uploaded video should be raw. So I think
Better be, for all this money we're paying for Riverside. Just kidding. They have good support. Like so far, the bot has been enough, but I believe that there's someone going to help me 24/7 if I need it. Okay. So I'm here with the flickering maestro of Mesa, the man with the most automations. And we want to thank you for joining us on this edition of E-Commerce Hotline podcast. I'm Maier Bianchi, the host, the founder of Bemeir, the madman behind the E-Commerce Hotline. And my buddy here, Kalen Jordan, the man among men, would like to say goodbye. Kalen, do you have any parting words for the audience as you jigger with your video here and mess with it?
Just say have a good weekend, but I don't know when this is coming out. We're recording on a Friday, but
it might be up tonight. You never know. I might carefully release it tomorrow, but
hey, man,
LinkedIn on Saturdays is kind of dry. But I did say I want to post every day.
Listen, I hope you guys if you got to the end, I hope you're planning to rewatch it from the beginning. Make sure you get all the juicy nuggets. Make sure you get all the insights, all the tips, all the drama, all the insights, all the philosophizing. Listen back to those jingles. Make sure you got them locked into the dome. And that's it, man. Good times.
If you need help with e-commerce but don't have time, call the e-commerce hotline. If you need help to make your store shine, call the e-commerce hotline. Your store needs improving, don't deny. Gotta call e-commerce hotline. Call 888-499-3266. Your store will be fine. 888-499-3266. Make your store shine. E-commerce hotline. E-commerce hotline.